Hello, everyone. You are someone and I am someone else, and today we're going to be talking about not this flag, but we're going to be talking about something very important. Very, very important. Today we're going to be talking about Bogle on mutual funds. Get this book. Get this book. I keep telling people to get this book and they don't get it. If you want to know how to actually invest in the markets, don't be buying stupid crypto. Get this freaking book and then start buying indexes. Index funds, I should say. Bogle on mutual funds. Common Sense on Mutual Funds. Again, written by John Bogle. Let's see. What's another book that's really good? Oh, The Little Book of Common Sense Investing. In fact, I recommend you get this book first. If you're really bored, get this book. It's only an hour read. There's a lot of visuals in there. You won't get bored. What's another good book for investing? Anyway, those are some of the best books on investing. If you want a stock pick, I've read all these books, by the way. The Intelligent Investor is pretty good, although I do not recommend the paper copy. Look at how beat up this paper copy is. I do not recommend that book. But if you want a stock pick, you can. But again, why are you buying crypto? Like, you guys are dumb for buying crypto, honestly. And that's not what real wealth is. Real wealth isn't money and equity. Really, it is kind of. But what real wealth is what applied economics talks about a little bit. And actually, one of the big things, Economic Facts and Fallacies talks a lot about what real wealth is too. But while I am not completely on the Chicago side on what makes true wealth, I'm more on the classical side of economics, what makes wealth, the stuff of nations. Yeah, the wealth of nations, the stuff of nations. I think everyone can agree that wealth is stuff in some regard. I mean, yeah. Well, we can agree on that. Some people say, oh, equity is wealth. I don't really agree with that necessarily. I believe it's liquid, yes, but I don't think it's wealth necessarily. It can be transferred into material goods if you sell it. That being said, why are you guys buying crypto? Why do I every time I get a message like, oh, I always text people, right? And like I have friends who either talk about crypto or they text me on how much they lost in crypto, and I'm like, why are you buying crypto when you could be reading those books? You could be making thousands of dollars more in the markets by reading those 3 books. Just read those 3 books by John Bogle. And then maybe read The Intelligent Investor if you're more interested in the stock market. But you'll get the basics down of the stock market just by reading those 3 books. You don't need to buy any crypto. You just stay in the market and you're good. I don't really understand it. If you want to know about the future of the market, however, Stay the Course is a pretty good book that predicts the future of the market. Again, another book by John Bogle. Fantastic book, by the way. I'm a John Bogle fan. If you can't tell, John Bogle is one of my favorite investors of all time to read about. He made a beautiful index fund. The Classic Cultures is another really good prediction on stock market returns. Classic Cultures. Personally, though, I'm not a big fan of that book. I would highly recommend Stay the Course over the Classic Cultures. John Bogle on investing, I wouldn't really recommend it. This is more for an advanced reader who wants to understand more about John Bogle and his philosophy. You don't really need to understand his philosophy too much. You just need to read Bogle on mutual funds. If you read Bogle on mutual funds, you'll understand the main tenets of the philosophy. And if you read the other 2 books, you'll get the more simplified version of his philosophy. And so, honestly, why the heck would you ever decide to, in my opinion, Common Sense on Mutual Funds is such a good book. It really is. It really gives you a different perspective on investing than Bogle on Mutual Funds. Bogle on Mutual Funds is very analytical. Common Sense on Mutual Funds is, well, common sense. It's thinking in a different way about mutual funds than Bogle on Mutual Funds. But that's besides the point, right? They're very good books. And the fact that people aren't reading them, and the fact that people are losing so much money in the markets, regardless of crypto or single stocks, honestly, I would stop it. If you're losing money in the markets, go buy those books. It will tell you why index funds are the best. It will give you the proper reasons for why index funds are the best. And then you will be convinced enough to be putting your money away into something that will grow into the future over the many decades. You won't make money overnight. You just won't. You'll maybe make 7 or less than that a year. 7% or less a year. And, if interest rates go higher than that, I mean, you might make even more money. Who knows, right? Or inflation goes up, you might even make more money. But that doesn't mean that you should be buying crypto. Like, I just don't understand. Every time I get so discouraged by people who invest their money. I'm like, that's not actually investment. Investment has John Bogle and Benjamin Graham have a completely definition of what an investment is. They believe you should value it first before you put money in it. And so when it comes to value investing, that's really what it is. It's value investing versus speculation. Crypto is more speculation. It's a hedge. It's not really anything you could truly value, but you can value the cash flows of a business. You can value the cash flows of an index fund. You don't need to. You just buy the index. Do you think about it? No, you just buy it every month. It goes up. You don't have to worry about it. I mean, it doesn't go up every month, but it goes up over the course of your life. For the most part, unless the world collapses. I'm so dumbfounded by these people. I'm dumbfounded by YouTube, the state of finance YouTube. I'm not a finance YouTuber by any means. I'm a dumb person who's in their 20s, who doesn't know anything. But the fact that I read books and I understand the capital markets better than most people, and stay the course will to give you a more interesting legal perspective, I would say, on the capital markets, a little bit more. The Battle for the Soul of Capitalism will give you a very good why CEOs make way more money than the average investor and how they get away with it. And they are sometimes the people who make the company, like during the dot-com crash. The capital market's fair. No, they're never going to be fair. The SEC is supposed to make it fair. Security Exchange Commission is supposed to make it fair. But is it more fair than crypto? Absolutely. I definitely believe it is. The capital markets is supposed to allocate capital so you can get capital goods so employees can actually work in those factories or businesses that they won't need to pay for any of their safety equipment, their other stuff. They won't have to pay for all that stuff. They won't have to pay for the machines in the factories. You get that interest rate from that machine you paid for, partially with your equity. Again, sometimes it depends if the company IPO'd. If it didn't IPO, you're just trading a stock from somebody else. So technically, that company's not making any new money by you buying a stock. Someone else has sold it from you. So whatever. But hypothetically speaking, if you bought that equity from that company, from the CEO or whoever controlled the company the first bit, you own a part of that business, and you still do in a traded stock economy just as much as an IPO economy. But at least, I don't know, at least it's not a freaking scam. At least the company actually produces tangible assets. That's the thing that makes it wealth. That's the thing that makes equity wealth. It's the fact that there's going to be more stuff based on your capital. If you go and you spend money on your credit card and you don't have a business attached to that, then I guess you could say, you wasted that capital potential. You didn't really make any wealth. It was inefficient. And that's why businesses don't make a profit sometimes. They're inefficient. They can't make a profit enough to survive. You still need expenses every month. It's that's the economic pressure that they put on businesses. That's the environmental pressure and evolution. That's the economic pressure in businesses. Evolution and economics and investing are all similar in some ways. Investment's only one part of economics. But granted, it's a very important part of economics. Investing and labor are both the factors of labor. When the Chicagoans and the Austrians both believe that, I think the Austrians are more leaning towards that. I could be wrong. But again, I don't understand. Don't buy crypto. Read John Bogle. It's pretty straightforward knowledge. It's pretty straightforward. It's a pretty straightforward video. I don't know why I need to make this. The fact that people don't know more about John Bogle and the fact that some people think he's evil for creating Vanguard, and yes, Vanguard can be an evil company. They buy out water sources and they do weird stuff. You don't have to buy Vanguard funds. You could buy, another fund you could buy is BlackRock, which I don't recommend. BlackRock's even more evil. They control most of the minerals in Iceland. You could go and you could buy another index fund from somewhere else. I don't think they have a complete direct monopoly in index funds, but they are cheaper because they're the bigger. The bigger the index fund, obviously, the cheaper the fees. But go ahead and just read John Bogle, right? He might be dead, he might be a crazy person, but I think his knowledge will stand the test of time for many, many years to come. And those books, especially Bogle on mutual funds, I think they'll last forever. Regardless of those numbers have changed since the 90s, I think it doesn't matter if the numbers have changed that much. The things that he says in that book are still most likely true. A goodbye. I hope you've learned something.